Have you ever wondered what truly happened in the unseen realms the moment Jesus hung upon the cross? Men saw agony, blood, and defeat. But what if heaven saw something far greater? What if the skies darkened not from sorrow, but because two of the mightiest angels in creation had descended to witness the turning of eternity itself? In that hour when the earth trembled and the sun hid its face, Michael, the commander of heaven's hosts, and Uriel, the flame of God's wisdom, stood at the edge of the mortal world. Their presence was unseen by human eyes, yet their light clashed with the shadows that dared gather around the crucified Son. For as Christ breathed his last, the realms of spirit convulsed, Lucifer's throne shook, and the veil between heaven and earth was torn apart. This was not just the death of a man. It was the moment the greatest powers of heaven and hell faced each other across the span of eternity. Michael, the one whose name means who is like God, descended like a blade of living fire, his armor forged from the very essence of obedience. From the dawn of creation, he had warred against the dragon, driving rebellion from the courts of heaven. At the cross, that same defiance reared its head once more. The Prince of Darkness thought victory was his. But Michael knew better. He did not come to strike. He came to stand. For when the sun was lifted high, all authority in heaven and on earth was shifting. Every principality, every power, every dominion felt it. The Archangel's sword burned unseen, its light cutting through the gloom, proclaiming that divine justice was about to be fulfilled once and for all. Beside him stood Uriel, the angel of light, whose name means fire of God. He was the keeper of knowledge, the guardian of divine mysteries, the one who, according to ancient tradition, warned Noah of the coming flood and guided prophets through visions too terrible for human eyes. Now he stood at the edge of the greatest revelation in creation's history, the moment when God's wisdom would be made perfect through sacrifice. His presence was not in thunder or flame, but in understanding, the piercing realization that what seemed like defeat was in truth the final unveiling of divine victory. The cross was not chaos, it was design, not tragedy, but triumph. Uriel's light swept across the heavens, illuminating the truth that even the angels had longed to see. That redemption was not power overcoming power, but love overcoming death. And Lucifer, watching from the shadows of his own pride, felt the tremor of fear for the first time since his fall. He had moved through the ages as the accuser, whispering, corrupting, twisting creation into his image. He believed that when the Son of God was crucified, heaven would mourn and he would reign unopposed. But as Michael's presence flared and Uriel's fire began to rise, he understood the truth. The cross was not his victory, it was his undoing. Scripture says that through the cross, Christ disarmed the powers and authorities, making a public spectacle of them, triumphing over them in it. Colossians 2:15. And that triumph burned like holy fire through the unseen realm, scattering the legions of darkness as the earth itself groaned under the weight of divine power. The angels did not weep, they worshipped. For in that moment, they beheld a mystery they could scarcely comprehend. The Son, who had spoken the stars into existence, was willingly embracing death to restore what rebellion had shattered. The one who sat above the cherubim was now lifted between heaven and earth, bridging both. Michael stood guard over the eternal law being fulfilled. Uriel bore witness to the wisdom of love that confounds every throne and dominion. And in the unseen heavens, seraphim bowed their faces, their song trembling through creation. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. The veil of the temple tore from top to bottom, a sign that what had been hidden since the beginning was now revealed. Uriel's fire swept through the darkness of ages, lighting the path back to God. Michael's sword sheathed itself in peace, for the war he had fought since Lucifer's fall was now reaching its destined end. The power of sin was being broken, not by might or blade, but by surrender, the one act that all rebellion could never comprehend. For Lucifer's strength was pride, but Christ's strength was humility. The deceiver had taken dominion through defiance. The Redeemer reclaimed it through obedience unto death. The ground quaked, tombs broke open, and the sky split with light. Angels moved unseen among the ruins of the world's arrogance, guarding the moment when creation would breathe again. Michael turned his gaze downward. The battle he had fought for eons was closing. The serpent's head was crushed, the curse was overturned. Uriel's fire rose upward, carrying the revelation through the heavens. Mercy has triumphed over judgment. The cross had become the axis of the universe, where justice and love met, and eternity pivoted around a single cry: "It is finished." In that cry, the authority of Lucifer shattered. No longer could he accuse what the blood had redeemed. His dominion of fear crumbled, his claim over souls broken. Michael's light drove back his shadow. Uriel's flame exposed his lies. And in the courts of heaven, a new covenant was sealed, not written on stone, but on hearts. For humanity, once exiled from the presence of God, was now invited home. Yet even in victory, the moment was solemn. The angels did not rejoice as conquerors over the fallen, but as witnesses of a love that humbled even them. Uriel gazed upon the cross, seeing not only what had been done, but what it meant. That divine glory is not found in power, but in sacrifice. Michael knelt in silent awe, for the Lord of hosts had waged the final war not with armies, but with grace. Every wound, every drop of blood, every cry of pain became a weapon of eternal light. The rebellion that began with Lucifer's pride ended with the Son's humility. And though Lucifer still prowls the world, his defeat is written in the very fabric of creation, a scar of light that no darkness can erase. When the third day dawned and the stone was rolled away, Michael was there again, this time at the tomb, radiant with victory. His voice echoed through the garden, proclaiming, "He is not here. He is risen." And the earth, still trembling from the power of resurrection, recognized its true king. Uriel's light shone once more, illuminating the path of salvation that would stretch through every age until the final day. The cross, the tomb, the empty sky, all bore witness to the truth that the Lamb had overcome. The powers of heaven and hell both beheld what humanity often forgets, that the greatest war was fought not in violence, but in love. The cross was the battlefield, the Son was the warrior, and the angels were the silent witnesses to the turning of all creation. Michael's sword remains drawn, not in wrath, but in protection over the redeemed. Uriel's fire still burns, guiding those who seek understanding into the light of truth. And Lucifer, though still whispering in the shadows, knows that his time is short, for the same blood that fell upon the hill still cries out across eternity: victory. So when we speak of angels at the cross, we speak of what was seen in spirit, the embodiment of God's justice and wisdom standing guard over his ultimate act of mercy. Michael reminds us that obedience is strength. Uriel teaches us that true light is understanding. Together they frame the mystery of the cross, that what terrified the enemy was not might, but mercy. What broke the chains of death was not wrath, but love. And today, as generations look back on that moment, the echo of their presence still lingers. In every act of faith, in every whisper of grace, in every heart that turns from darkness to light, the same battle continues, and the same victory resounds. The cross was never just an event. It was the unveiling of eternity's deepest truth. The angels knew it, the heavens proclaimed it, and all creation still trembles beneath its glory. It is finished.